What's going on, guys? This is Cam, and in today's video, I'm going to be tearing apart my favorite marketer's website, shopacquisition.com by Mr. Hormozi, a guy who had over 400,000 store sessions within 48 hours and has sold over 500,000 copies of 2 books, $100 million leads, and $100 million offers. Now, you would anticipate a marketer this smart, this skilled, would have a killer website to back a massive launch, but unfortunately, the execution was very, very poor from a website standpoint. So in today's video, I'm going to be tearing apart exactly what these guys could have done to turn more visitors into paying customers. And I know Hormozi always says he doesn't care about the money that he gathers from his book sales, but if you want to get more books in more hands, you still need to check off all the right boxes in the end user's head to get them to buy. Now, the first thing we're going to be looking at is the homepage. And when we talk about assessing the biggest levers for success when it comes to turning visitors into paying customers, the above the fold section is one of those sections that you need to allocate a lot of time and energy because it reduces your bounce rate, the percentage of people who leave your site within 5 seconds. Now, when we look at the above the fold section for Mr. Hormozi, the first thing you're going to see, and again, the eye will keen in on particular elements as it sort of looks to consume all the content on the above the fold section. But if you can use predictive heat maps or heat maps themselves to understand where is sort of the focal point on first click. And right now I would make the anticipation it's on this beautiful face with this beautiful smile, but that's not the focal point of this website. The focal point of this website is $100 million leads, the book. Now, this book needs to be, obviously from a placement standpoint, they needed to resize the image so at least you could see Hormozi's beautiful face alongside the book, right? The book looks like it's cut off, and the keyword, which is leads, is not prevalent within this design. Now, in the back, like, love the idea, but very poor execution. You can see like different demographics utilized or just raving about the book, which is great, guys. It creates that subconscious association to this being something that people are craving and they truly, truly want. So I love the idea. I just think it was so poorly executed on. Now, as we look at what our eye would keen in on at second glance, it would probably be this very section, right? 2023, new release, 100 million leads. So this is great because he does have another book. They were trying to sell $100 million leads. So it's very important to say, look, for the remainder of this page, or for most of this page, this is going to be the core concept. Discover the secrets of 100 million leads. Learn how to generate leads that are ready to buy whatever it is you sell. Rated 4.9 out of 5 on Amazon. You got your 2 call to actions: primary CTA, transitory CTA, high intent CTA, low intent CTA. Very, very smart art execution right here, because there's going to be 2 types of buyers: those who are ready and those who need more information, right? So this is a very, very well articulated section. When we talk about the reviews, 4.9 out of 5, just dive into specifics, right? I believe he has over 10,000 on 100 million leads. So I don't know why it's just rated 4.9 out of 5. What if it's like 2 reviews that equate to 4.9 out of 5? Get specific, guys. Specificity sells. Very, very important. Now, I have a lot to say on the headline and the subtext that sort of reconfirms the headline. Now, when we look at this headline, in this subheadline, this is where the magic is done, guys. 8 out of 10 people read your headline, 2 out of 10 people read the rest of your body copy. So what are some ideas that will get more people to actually feel like, hey, this is a viable solution, because the headline, it just better resonates with them? I would change it to something within the lines of 2x, 3x, or 100x your leads in 12 months. I would make the subheadline something that reconfirms that bold claim, which is 273-page step-by-step guide to turn strangers into buyers with the $100 million method. What have we done here, guys? Well, first and foremost, we've made the dream outcome very, very clear. And Hormozi always touches on this, right? What is that dream outcome we are trying to get to? We have also made evident the time in which we can get to that end goal, which is 6 months. We've also become very specific in terms of what is derived in terms of an end benefit when it comes to this product, right? 273 pages that's a step-by-step guide to turn strangers into buyers, right? And we're piquing some type of curiosity by saying $100 million method. This is exactly what these guys are missing out on, because a headline like discover the secrets of $100 million leads, it doesn't mean much to me. It doesn't get me interested. I'm here because I'm on a transformational journey. I'm going to buy this book so I can literally 10x my business, 100x my business, feed my family, feed my kids. Guys, I don't have kids, but you get the point. The secrets and all that type of stuff, save it for yourself, right? So understand why they're there and position your product as the bridge in between where they're at and where they want to get to. And that sub-headline, utilize it as a facilitator to getting people even more interested by being very specific in how you're going to get them to that benefit, to that idea. Believability is also very, very important, okay? Nothing in regards to the social proof here. Let's continue. Again, you don't also need to add like sold over 800,000 copies worldwide. It's already in the announcement bar. You don't also want to overwhelm the end user with like social proof. I know all marketers love to do this, but guys, don't overdo it. Like, this is like CRO 101, which is like the guy who watches a few CRO videos. It's like, oh, I need to stack social proof all over my website. Put it here, put it. You still need to look authentic, right? So you don't need all this social proof. You don't need to overwhelm the end user. Do you need to talk about the Alex Hormozi story when literally all the traffic that is coming to this page is from affiliates who spent hours talking about this guy, or from, you know, different podcasts that he was on where in the beginning he's literally talking about his story and how big his business was when he sold it? No, guys. Like, these are all individuals who already know all of this. I know Hormozi's life story because every podcast, every video, he's talking about it. And remember, he wasn't selling to cold audiences with this particular page. So I think, you know, when you look at the use of real estate, there's a lot of elements that you can literally remove. And there's not going to be any inflection when it comes to conversions. But to match the level of temperature that audience is on, you literally don't need to do all this overwhelming social proof work, because again, this is someone who's already educated. They just wanted to buy. So maybe adding the offer section right here was enough for these guys, right? Now, as we move down below the fold, we're going to see sort of how each and every module is going to build trust, build credibility, enhance motivation, reduce anxiety to get someone to pull out their credit card and purchase. Now, it's very important to understand the temperature of audience that you're pushing to your website, especially for like a launch, right? These are pre-framed, pre-educated individuals who are ready to buy. They are familiar with Hormozi. They're familiar with the mission of this book. And when you take that into consideration, how you structure your website is very, very important. Now, the structure of this website is maybe a 2 out of 10. I don't think there's any way in which I could make the structure of this page any worse, and I'll tell you guys why. So when you look at from above the fold all the way to this very section, which is the offer stack, it took me around 8 scrolls. And that's a huge problem, right? Because these are individuals who are ready to buy. They just want to see the price and they want to pull out their credit card and purchase. This website is not a closer. This is an order taker. This is the guy who says, give me the money. He takes the money, puts it in the bank. That's it. That's it. And unfortunately, this is why, you know, when we talk about like CRO guys today, all they're doing is all these little tricks and gimmicks and adding all these additional elements. And sometimes overdoing it is costing you, right? Simple sells, guys. Fancy fails. No, simple scales, fancy fails, right? I think Hormozi says that quote, right? So when you take that into consideration, do we need an element where we're talking about Hormozi's stories when all of his traffic is coming from affiliates or from podcasts that he was on, where he's literally talking about his story for 50 to 75 minutes, right? I know Hormozi's stories inside and out. Like, I know this guy like I know a friend, like my best friend, right? So when we take that into consideration, this is not an element that's needed. Yes, if we were pushing cold audiences to this page, this is great. You position yourself as an authority. If you're selling a $10,000 mastermind, sure, it makes sense. But you're selling a book that is $29.99. and we're doing all of this selling. So let's reverse engineer all of this and ask ourselves, what is that entrepreneur looking for to make a well-informed decision? Okay, yeah, social proof is good. So when we look at the social proof, these are hand-selected reviews, right? So when we look at these reviews, is it going to facilitate a buying decision becomes the question. And a lot of people, they just put reviews and they say, well, it's social proof, right? And this is the problem. So let's look at what these reviews actually entail. He explains each concept in an easy way. So this is great, right? The thesis of this review is it's easy to understand. It's easy to grasp, so you don't have to be a genius. And you can get that end benefit and become a staple within the business world. Here, he's comparing it to, the traditional courses, right? I paid $2,500 for these lessons that a $20 book taught me. And by the way, it's free for audio on the podcast. Again, I don't think it's necessary. You don't want to detract from one's buying decision, guys. Never detract from one's buying decision. This is why apply your discount code on your cart page is a conversion bleeder or killer. It's because for the end user who doesn't have a discount code, now you're training them to say, hey, I need to put in my discount code. Where's the discount code? And you're going to lose someone. So we're selling a book. Let's forget about talking about a free audio and all that type of stuff. Like, again, they're here for a reason. Sell them the book. Expertise, generosity, he knows everything. Straight shooters out there. Okay, so yeah, this is just giving Hormozi that authority figure, and that's very important for an author. So great section. Just be leery of what kind of reviews you guys put. Make sure you're touching on different objections with each and every review. Now, as we go down, I love this section. I think the headline, as mentioned earlier, should have been more in line with what we're talking about here. Read these 273 pages if you want to 2x, 5x, or 10x your leads within the next 12 months. Very, very, very strong copy here. But again, it's not where it needs to be. And then this is a great image. Probably would have used this image on the above the fold section. You got more reviews, and then you got this section that's useless. Now, when you look at their offer stack, they've obviously used psychological triggers to incentivize a higher AOV offer, which is great. We would probably do something within the lines of 3 hardcore edition books plus maybe a free hat. Big free icon here would 100% increase the take rate. And same thing here. I would anticipate this is for teams. So, Hormozi did say in a podcast he had a 50% take rate on his 3-pack. So guys, if he had a 50% take rate on his 3-pack, look on the above the fold section where around 35 to 40% of users click on the next step CTA. So in this case, I would anticipate they would click on this button. You push people to your lowest ticket offer. You see the problem? You see the problem, guys? And no one's going to go back and scroll all the way down to this very offer. So, Hormozi did say this had a 50% take rate in comparison to, the one-time purchase or the one book package. But again, why is this CTA pushing people to a product specific to the $19.99 offer? It should literally just push people down here, sort of serving as a landing page, remove all of this stuff, and get people very, very focused on this is the offer, this is exactly why you should take it. And again, that's going to increase the AOV and the take rate on the higher AOV offer. So another small or big area for improvement. What are the modules within this book that are going to help me 2x, 5x, or 100x my leads? Let me find that, right? So here we're talking about start here, learn how advertising works, get leads, how to never run out of leads, implementation plan. Okay, so this is very high level stuff, guys, but from an execution standpoint, what am I actually going to be doing? Are you going to be teaching me how to run Facebook ads? Are you going to be teaching me how to set up my CRM so I can follow up aggressively? Are you going to teach me the cadence of how many times I need to follow up, how to follow up? What is it, right? So diving into the specifics, maybe actually having a section where, they're actually showcasing different modules or different chapters within the book, and what the derived benefit for that is going to be very important. So here they highlight their ICP, which isn't needed, right? you can literally have one section for small and big business owners, entrepreneurs, and marketers. Okay, that's it. You don't need any of this stuff. Like the consumption here is nothing. It does not add any value to the buying decision. Same thing here. And I think this section's fine. Keep updated with new free value pieces and book releases. Okay, that's fine as well. Now, I would have an email pop-up, right, pushing this new book, because if you're getting 400,000 sessions within 48 hours, not every one of those individuals are going to be buying. So build that list, right? Build that list. These are people who have intent. They're here for a reason. Now, if this website was structured in a way that was more conversion focused, obviously, you would be making a lot more money, but that's for another day. So all in all, when we look at this homepage, I would rate it maybe a 5 out of 10. It definitely looks like a CRO agency built this page. It was just, unfortunately, what all CRO agencies do, which is just stack a bunch of CRO principles in one little design. So what I would finish off and conclude with is the room for opportunity here for Mr. Hormozi is when you understand your traffic is already warm. These are people who have shown interest, who are ready to buy. Get specific on exactly, from an execution standpoint, why you're going to get them to that end benefit with this very book. Highlight that, look, Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, Lewis Howell, Tom Bilyeu, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that guy's name. You were on their podcast. They were literally vouching for your book. And a lot of Hormozi's traffic with this book launch came from those individuals. So in that one instance where we would push showcasing, PR, which that is a form of PR, this website does not have that. Let's say I'm a big fan of Ed Milet, right? And I've always, for the last 5 years, consumed every piece of information Ed Milet has put out, right? And then I see Hormozi on a podcast with Ed Milet. And at the end, Ed Milet's like, by the way, go buy $100 million leads, right? And I come to this website, and as opposed to just seeing Hormozi, why don't I see Ed Milet? Why don't I see all these other big entrepreneurs that are vouching for him? I just see, the regular Joe vouching for him, which is fine, right? I'm not against that. But guys, look how many sections. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sections. Why not utilize that space so when the audience is coming from a big figure like Ed Milet, they can again associate the brand value that Ed Milet has to Hormozi, and that in turn is going to turn more visitors into dollars. So guys, I wanted to keep this one short. I'm going to look at this page as a landing page, so I'm not going to go into all the other pages, but again, lots of room for opportunity. So with that being said, Mr. Hormozi, I know you got a new book coming out. If you want more help making that next book launch, your biggest book launch to date, reach out to me so we can turn your website into a conversion powerhouse. Guys, as always, this is Cam from Solvex Media. See you on the greener side.